Hello subscribers, friends, this is Hank McGurk with another video about economic collapse. A lot of times when you're on the internet, a lot of times when you're surfing these sites, if you're not an economist, there's a lot of economic jargon that's out there. There's statistics that people cite until they're blue in the face. And a lot of people can't come to grips with the fact that there will be an economic collapse because they don't understand market mechanisms or valuation or any of the other technical terms that economists and money managers and things will do. So I've developed a 7-part series with my own gumshoe on the street observations that should prove to you without a doubt that economic collapse is imminent. And in this series, there will be no statistics. There will be no economic jargon. This is just real people and their real lives and exactly what's going on. So let me get to the first part of this 7-part series. The first part is called Death of a Salesman. And the reason I call it that is because when I first came to Florida, I wanted to join the insurance industry. Initially, I got my ACA, which is Accredited Claims Adjuster's license, and that was way back in 2004 when I was going to do CAT claims, which is catastrophe claims. So if you had something like wildfires in California, or you had tornadoes in the Midwest, or you had hurricanes in Florida, I would be able to go and represent the insurance company and make sure that people's, whose homes and lives were devastated, I could help reconstruct them. And, as time went on, I decided not to get into claims on the claims side of things, because the very nature of the business requires you to be persuasive enough to try and get someone that's entitled to a benefit to accept less than what their benefit is. And a lot of times your raises and promotions and bonuses and things can be contingent upon that, which I found to be highly unethical. So I said, even though I can make a lot of money in it, I can make 6 figures in it. And I'm not to say that all CAT claims adjusters or adjusters are immoral in this sense. There are a lot of very good adjusters out there, but typically they're associated with good insurance companies that pay their claims, because there's a lot of shady nickel and dime insurance companies, especially with P&C, or what we call property and casualty. So anytime you buy insurance, you got to make sure you're dealing with a reputable insurance company. So I transitioned away from CAT claims and into life insurance, because I saw it as a gateway towards Series 6 licensing, Series 66, Series 7, my stockbroker's license, which would enable me to get a little bit more in depth into the markets and market analysis that I love so much, and without having to pay a fee to a broker to be able to trade as I wanted to trade. Well, I entered the life insurance business in a very naive way. I believed that if I could demonstrate to the community that I was a trustworthy person, I knew my product inside and out, I was always going to make the best recommendations. I stipulated always in any contract that I entered that I was a non-captive agent, which meant that I wasn't beholden to sell one specific type of product. I could sell any life insurance contract, annuity contract, long-term care contract, any contract from any company, because I wanted what was best for my clients. I went to work for Mutual of Omaha, which is a great company. I found them to be really, really top notch in the way that they paid out their claims. And the reason I joined that company was because after a lot of research, I found that it was a lot better to work with. And I'm not going to name some of the shadier companies. But as I went into the business, it's not a business where it's commissions only. So what that means is you're not getting paid hourly. They charge you for absolutely everything. So the phone, you got to rent your desk, you got to pay for your printing, you got to pay for your own mailings, you've got to pay for the gas in your car. You get absolutely no reimbursements whatsoever. You're not getting paid unless you're selling something. 100% commissions only. So it puts a lot of pressure on you to produce results. And I did produce because I was putting in 14-hour long days. I was involved in everything in the community, from Rotary and other public service projects, stock and pantry at school, because I believed with a good reputation, reciprocal altruism would drive people towards my business. Well, that wasn't necessarily the case. It didn't work out like that. While I developed more and more contacts, I started to realize that people couldn't afford any life insurance. There were a few people that could afford maybe a term contract or something like that, but people were so cash strapped. Life insurance wasn't really on the top of their list when they had to pay down their credit card bills. They've got rent to pay, they've got food costs, they've got fuel costs, and even an extra $20 a month sometimes was well out of their range, which left them very much exposed. In addition to that, everything in the life insurance business is a pyramid scheme. So say I go out and I do bang out a great commission. Because I've sold some big multi-million-dollar policies. Well, my agency, collects 50% straight off of the top. They take 50% right straight off the top, even though I'm paying for everything to begin with. All right, and then they kick up to the top of their district manager and so on and so forth. And then there are also nasty little things called overrides. I went out for weeks and weeks and weeks on end to gain group contracts with a variety of different businesses. And I finally struck gold, and I got a meeting. And when I came, I was so happy. Everybody had known I've been working on this project. Very difficult work. And my boss came to me and said, we're going to TO it off to this guy that specializes in group. You can't do group. There's an override. And this guy's going to come in and take over that business. And I wasn't going to get paid anything out of it. And I had done all those hours of groundwork. Well, that really pissed me off. It pissed me off so much I punched a hole in the wall that evening. And because you could have let me know that ahead of time. And the truth is, I didn't have to consent to any override. And I friggin' blew the project up. I blew it up because fuck that guy. Pretty much. So, beyond all the costs that you're incurring with your philanthropy, you're not getting reimbursed on your expenses. There's the pyramid scheme. I'm out there every day, pounding the concrete, meeting people, shaking hands, and I'm finding that the people that need the help the most, that need to restructure their contracts, they simply don't have any money. They're upside down in their mortgages. And one thing as an insurance agent is you get into people's finances to help them kind of determine what their exposure is, how they can be indemnified, what their family's going to need in the event of their death, just all those sorts of things that are very important to keep a family unit stable after a breadwinner is gone. So you get really involved in people's finances. And I saw just so many instances of people upside down. I think about $300,000 upside down in mortgage. We're talking about $250,000 worth of student debt. We're talking about $30,000 or $40,000 worth of credit card debt. So there's no money out there. There's no money out there. So you can look at the statistics or whatever you want all day long, but I can tell you from personal experience and going to talk to a lot of different people that really wanted the life insurance. They can't afford it because of the economic situation. So right at about 11 minutes now, that's the end of the first piece. I call that Death of a Salesman. Next piece is Contractor Crush. It's been Hank.